Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Emily and I live with my husband and our two babies who are now 5 months old, and of course our dog Shep, our border collie Shep. Brilliant, there she is, on cue. I've been making some videos about life with twins along with just days in the life vlogs. Today I'm going to talk a bit about feeding and a bit of an update of where we are with breastfeeding 5 and a bit months in. We're not quite 6 months yet. So yeah, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for coming on by, and I hope this is helpful for you if you are a breastfeeding mum or a twin mum. Yeah, I've also kindly been gifted a pump from Momcozy, which I'm going to talk about as well a little bit later on in this video. So stick around if you want to hear a bit more about that, and they've kindly given me a discount code as well, so keep watching if you want to hear about that. Okay, as always, I've got some notes on my phone and in my notebook. We are still exclusively breastfeeding these babies, which has been all things challenging but also just really special that I get that time with them both throughout the day, although I am looking forward to them feeding less. Obviously they're quite dependent on me throughout the day still, but yeah, it's a really special time that I get to have with them. Also, if you can hear babies in this video, that's because they're chilling out downstairs with James, so don't mind that. They're feeding still every 2 to 3 hours. Now this, I feel like I could make a whole nother video on nap life and figuring out nap timings and yeah, times through the day where they are napping and feeding. Sometimes they nap for over an hour, but sometimes they just nap for half an hour. So trying to extend that nap time so that they're less grizzly, gives us a bit more time in the day, but yeah, that's just trial and error, figuring it out, and we'll get there. They'll get there. I'm looking forward to them having food, which isn't too far away. I'm interested to see how that helps them with napping. Whether they'll be fuller, I don't know. But yeah, getting my head around the weaning life. I feel like that's a future video which we'll get to at some point. Please send me your tips and recommendations on weaning because I am pretty clueless. Anyway, they're feeding every 2 to 3 hours still. Generally they'll have a nap and then they'll wake up, and if they wake up together then I'll feed them in tandem if I'm at home, and if they wake up from a nap sometimes I try and settle the other one down until the hour mark has passed. But yeah, when I'm at home I feed them in tandem. I'm still feeding them in the rugby ball position, and I generally do that on the bed. I can't really feed them on the sofa at home anymore just because they're too big and they kick their legs, they're very wiggly, and I find that cushions on the bed is the best position to do that in. We're also going through a heat wave at the moment in England, and my goodness, sticky hot babies feeding is not fun, so we have a fan upstairs which I've been really enjoying using, so that has made a difference. Yeah, I've never used a sort of breastfeeding pillow. I've always just used our normal sleeping pillows with muslins on, just because I find they're a bit more malleable and you can sort of move them to fit where the babies are, and it's just a bit more comfortable. I did have a feeding pillow but just didn't really get on with it, so we stuck with the pillows. So yeah, so I feed them in tandem when I can if they wake up together and are ready for a feed together. Now I actually spoke to the health visitor this week, because, and I actually mentioned it in a video previous, that Percy was becoming quite fussy when he was feeding. He has got a bit better, but I spoke to the health visitor about that, and they're not worried about him having reflux. He is quite sicky, but she said it could be a number of things. It could be that he's having too much milk and his brain isn't telling him to stop. It could just be the positioning that he's in. So although I've been doing rugby, she suggested that I try and sit them up a bit, so instead of them laying down and going behind me, they're sort of sitting upright a bit more. They've been giving that a go and they seem to find that quite comfortable. He's also been generally a little bit more needy. It's so hard as well because I've always got the other baby to compare to, whereas if I'd had them, you know, at different times, if they would not been twins, I wouldn't have had that comparison. She's not worried. She just says he's a little bit more, just needs attention a little bit more. She's a bit more independent and he just needs a good cuddle. So yeah, that is that. I was using breast shields for a lot of my breastfeeding journey just because of nipple pain and latching, but I'm really happy because now we don't use nipple shields. Woohoo! So that's just been a whole lot easier. We just persevered with it, kept on going, and it's just so much easier when we're out and about when I need to feed them. I won't feed them in tandem when we're out and about just because it's too tricky, but yes, I feel so much happier about that. So we don't need to use nipple shields anymore. That's really, really good. Also have been expressing milk, which I'll talk a bit more about in a minute, but that's been really good because that means that if I need to go out or I'm away from them, then we can feed them with a bottle using express milk from the freezer. So Eden's a lot better at being on the bottle. Percy needs a bit more encouragement, and that again is something that's really good because it means I'm free and I'm not attached to a baby all the time. So it just, yeah, it means that I've got a bit more freedom if they can take the bottles. I would say that if you are someone who knows they want to do a bit of combination breastfeeding and expressed feeding, start the baby with the bottle as early as possible. They did have it in the early days, but not very often. I think that's why Percy struggles a bit more. So yeah, I definitely recommend introducing a bottle as early as possible. And then generally, just less milky. When I was first feeding the babies, I just couldn't believe how much milk my body was producing, and I definitely need breast pads all the time when I'm getting out of the shower or feeding. I used to go through so many bras, and yeah, there was just milk everywhere, and that has definitely calmed down, I think, as my body's got used to how much milk the babies need, because it all comes down to, what's the word, something in demand, anyway, all comes down to how much the babies need. So my body's worked out how much they need, and so it's just much calmer in the milky department, which I'm very pleased about. It is challenging, especially if you're on your own, and I'm tandem feeding because that means I need to burp one baby, get the other baby off. Also, as they've got bigger, I've got like the cushion that I used to sit them in, well, I still sit them in. They can just roll out of that now because they're just that bit more mobile. It's funny now because they feed so well, and remembering in the early days when you'd have to really help them get onto the breast, whereas now they just latch on so easily. But yeah, I remember in the early days having to really support their heads and get them right on, whereas now we end up in all sorts of different positions. So yeah, I'm so thankful that we have got here. It's definitely taken perseverance, and there are days where we're all just in a milky, sad mess, but other days where we're not. And yeah, it's nice to be able to feed them in tandem and individually as well. Really pleased that we've been able to get here. 5 months in, who'd have thought it? I don't know how long we'll keep going for. Obviously I'm going to go back to work at some point, and they're going to start eating actual food, which is really exciting. Like I say, that's a whole other video, a whole other journey. I just want to talk about pumping. So generally we put the babies down at 7 o'clock in the evening, and most of the time they go down really well, and I find that in evening time is a good time for me to be able to pump. So I pump so that we've got a bit of a stash in the freezer, A, for emergencies, but also if I need to go out. So on Saturday I'm getting my nails done ready for our holiday, which I'm really excited about. But I know that there's milk in the freezer so that if they did need something to eat, then that's there ready for them. So yes, Momcozy very kindly got in touch, and they've sent me one of their pumps, and I've been really enjoying using it. They sent me the wearable breast pump S12 Pro. Comes in a box like this, and I really enjoyed unboxing this. I feel like it was presented really nicely. So I have taken out of what it initially looked like, but I will show you what comes in the box. So it comes with 2 little pouches that look like this, and that's to put each of the pumps in. It also has lots of spare parts, cleaning tools, and bits and bobs in there as well, so you can store it all together nice and tidy. Comes with a little sort of top tips card, which is helpful if you don't want to sit down and read all the instructions. Talks about cleaning and sterilising, talks about putting the pump together, and how to collect milk as well at the end. It also comes with these milk storage bags, which I really like, and I'll tell you why. So you rip the bit off the top when you're ready to put the milk inside, and then you fill it up. But what's really clever is they've got this little heat sensor at the bottom, so if the milk is too cold, it's purple. If it's a nice temperature, good temperature, it turns blue, and then if it's too hot, it's white. So you see, if I press it, it turns blue, which I thought was really clever. It comes with those bags, which are really helpful, and then it comes with the 2 pumps, which look like this. Now this is a wearable pump, so you can just put it in your bra and carry on your day whilst pumping, which I think is really helpful, especially if you've got even just one baby, never mind 2 babies, to crack on and do life with. So these are the 2 pumps, and it comes with the display on here, which I'll show you in a minute, and then the pump itself. The pump itself comes apart really, really easily. You've got 4 different parts. You've got the flange, the connector, the diaphragm, and then what is this part called? Sorry, let me tell you it right. So you've got the pump motor, you've got the milk collector, the flange, the diaphragm, which is in here and that unclips, the linker and the valve, and all of these parts come apart and you can easily wash them and then sterilise them. Obviously you don't sterilise or wash the pump at the top there. The pump itself has got 3 modes: expression, stimulation and a mixture of both, so you can see which feels most comfortable for you, and you can also sort of turn up the strength from 1 to 9 as well. It's got a pause button as well, so if you just need to pause when you're in the middle of pumping, you can do that. This is what the pump display looks like. There we go. So that tells you I'm on level 1 and I'm on the expression mode, but you can change it to a mixture of the both or just the expression mode. What I also really like about this pump is it tells you how long you've been pumping for, which is really handy, because you can easily lose track if you don't have something in front of you telling you how long you've been pumping for. It's really quiet, so if you're watching telly or trying to be subtle if you're in a group scenario, it's really quiet, so you don't have to worry about making lots of noise. It's got a really long battery life as well, and it's really easy to charge, just a standard USB-C charging port. So yeah, they've also very kindly sent me a feeding bra, which I will show you as well. So this is the, I'm going to call the name out so I get it right. This is the Elastic All-in-One Super Flexible Pumping Bra YN15. And yeah, this is really, really comfortable to wear when you are pumping. It's really important that the flange sits really flat against the breast, so this bra definitely helps with that. The shoulder strap is really foamy and comfortable, and the clasps are easily done with one hand if you are struggling with all the hands, with babies and pumps. Just really comfortable to wear. I would recommend looking on the website to make sure that you choose the right one, because it comes in various different sizes, but it's really clear on there, so I would recommend having a look at that. The only other thing I would say is that the pump also comes with a nipple to flange size guide, which I think is very nifty, and actually I probably should have checked this before I started pumping, because I think I would probably choose a bigger flange. So yeah, I'm looking forward to using that a little bit more. I will just go and grab some milk to show you how much I expressed. It has been in the freezer, and oh yes, I didn't say about once you've expressed the milk, it's really handy. You literally just take the pump off, and then there's a tiny little hole at the top, and you just pour it out into your collection bag, and yeah, I'm not worried about spilling any milk or anything. It comes out really well, so I've really enjoyed using that. So thank you to Momcozy for sending me the pump. Milk! This is what I've been expressing using the pump, and yeah, I'm really impressed with what I've been able to pump. So if you are interested in looking into the Momcozy pump or purchasing one for yourself, then I've got a discount code for you, which I'll put in the description bar below. But for the pump, it is Emily S12P. And that gets you 15% off all products, and also on Amazon too. And if you want to have a look at the pumping bra as well, then my discount code is Emily30F, available from the Momcozy website. That's kind of where we are with breastfeeding, 5 months in. Like I say, the whole nap feeding routine is kind of all over the place at the moment, and I'm trying to figure that out. With 2 babies, things are just a little bit trickier, and figuring timings out uses a little bit more brain space, but we are getting there. So yes, we are off on holiday on Monday morning, and I'll be feeding one baby as we take off, and James will be feeding the other one with milk from the bottle, so that's going to be an adventure. And then yeah, France 2023, here we come. Looking forward to hopefully having some chill time along with looking after 2 babies, but we are going with James's parents, so we've got help with us. I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are not subscribed, then subscribe, because then you'll know when a video comes out. Do like the video if you've enjoyed it. I feel like I rambled a little bit, I hope it was helpful. Do send any questions below and I'll see if I can get back to you. Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you to Momcozy again, and I will catch up soon, probably with a French holiday vlog. Thank you for watching. Speak to you soon. Goodbye.